Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our second meeting for our 2025 plans. If you missed this week's meeting, the first meeting, please do review the recordings. Here are the notes from that meeting, and I will share the notes later in the group. And so today's meeting is going to be focused on our impact report from 2024. I was just putting in the things that I knew that we did on behalf of Motherland Birth Collective. Some of these funds, I will say that some of these funds, a lot of these funds was my personal funds, but then that's when I started, I put in fundraising. So I will just mention that a little background about that all funding that went towards over the last few years, the first intention, one of the primary intentions for Motherland Birth Collective was to support fellow birth workers, whether they be members or just folks in our community with funds when they needed things to do their projects, right? So that those projects could be their local projects. Some of those things could be things they want to do in their community. They could be education. They could be, further their training, whatever the case may be. So over the years, what I would do is if somebody was in the group or if they weren't in the group or whatever that I saw in the community on behalf of the energetic, but behalf of the collective, because I represent the collective at all times whenever I'm out. And a lot of us, like I know Noni does too in her own way. And so I would, even if I was donating from my personal funds, I would donate on behalf of the collective because that was always the intention. And so I looked at it like this, even if it was personal, I gave it on behalf of the collective because that's the vision of the collective. So over the years, I've always given what I could, maybe it'd be $25 or $50 or whatever. And so this year was my first year. So to say that my the first funding that went towards the maternal health workshops, um training material, sorry, with the first funding that went towards the maternal health workshops that we do here in Cape Coast was from personal funds. They were, myself or we had people from the collective who lived here, Jamila, who's gone back to the States. But when she was here, she came all the way here from all the way where she lived. And she came all the way down here and offered her time as a first volunteer, and also she donated financially towards the first gifts of donations to the hospital that we serve. And so that was just a big part of like the transition of our organization to actually say like, wow, we could actually start figuring out how to raise funds. So I created the toolkit, and some of you are familiar with the toolkit. If not, I will reshare it. It's in the links in the WhatsApp chat. They're in the links, but if not, I will reshare it. So the toolkit has a breakdown. That's when I first like concepted those things. It has the breakdown of how we would gather funds, how would we what kind of donations people could make and everything like that, and what these donations will be going towards. So that was our initial phase of setting out the intention to create a space where we could gather, put funds and all that stuff towards our work that we do. And so with that, once I sent that toolkit out to the folks in my community, and I was able to get our first donor of $200, and that went towards, so I did January, I funded it on my own. I think February, oh no, I mean January, March, February, March. Yeah, so we did it every other month. March, I think I did the fundraising funds from my own pocket as well. But then by the time we started rolling out the last one from that series, it was 3 month series. We were able to use the funds that were gathered from the support of our donors. So we did I put the toolkit out, got the first $200 donation. And then I also did a fundraiser during Black Maternal Health Week. Also just like, hey, like, let me just try and do this thing and see what happens. And we actually ended up getting funds given to us. And that was such a beautiful act of faith, I will say, because I just thought I'm the one who's interested in this, so I'm gonna keep doing it, but it was me really hearing from spirit that if I asked for support, the community would do it. And that's what happened. So I'm really grateful. So that was our first levels of donations. And then also we have our membership fees. So our membership fees are actually $25 for the year. And then wherever you are in your respective country, something similar to that. And so we only initially did that with the thought around like South Africa and Ghana because those were our first um members, but now we have members all throughout the continent. And so what I would like from our members who are from other parts of the continent to do is provide for us a reasonable membership number that is not, that is like respective to around $25, even if it's like a little less, we're willing to make that. I think for Ghana it's 150 CDs. And so whatever that looks like in your respective country, because I don't think you should have to give USD when you're in your own country. Like that's crazy. So so if you could shoot out some numbers that is, not something too crazy expensive, something that people could keep up with, and that is a good way for us to hold on, sorry. Okay, I'm just pulling up a good way for us to keep gathering funds and for us to be able to utilize those funds for further projects. And so with that being said, if you so as we were talking about in our last meeting, so I'm sharing the toolkit now. So this is our toolkit, our ambassadors toolkit, and I'm actually going to or organizational toolkit, excuse me. And so I'm actually going to edit this, but in our toolkit, you can access the brand board. You can pull up the mission and vision. All of these are accessible on Canva as open documents. So you can see the workshop brochures. You can pull up all of this information. So you don't have to, I'm just looking to see if I can pull. If I could pull it up on my end, it's okay. So you can click all those links is what I'm saying. So click all these links. It'll send you to you see that Canva link that came up right there. That's what it'll send you to. And I think y'all can see my screen. Okay. So this is the board, the brand board for Motherland Birth Collective. So this is your access, you have access to the different logos. You have access to our brand vision, and you have access to the colors and all of that. And so this is something that you could use when you're developing things on behalf of the collective, when you have your trainings, if you want to put anything that we do from our trainings that you want to add to what the work that you're already doing in your community, you can do so in this way. And that is as simple as that. So let's go back here. You can pull up the missions. Again, all of this is view for you. Continue. Okay. Okay. So you can see the mission, vision, values, goals. Here's the overview. And so this is what we've developed over the years. So here's our mission, to reclaim, utilize, and preserve traditional indigenous birth, healing, and spiritual arts and techniques as a solution to alleviate the maternal and infant health disparities caused by modern global systemic oppression of medical apartheid. Yes, it's a lot, but that's what it is. And this is our vision to co-create an expansive, integrated educational process which prioritizes indigenous knowledge systems as the practice of preserving culture and serving our communities. With the practice of community economics, that's where the fundraising comes from, we will collectively be able to fund our group's international education while contributing to the local teachers, healers, and elders. We will return and get it by any means necessary, and the revolution will be fully funded. And so that is the vision. I don't want, when we do things, we can continue to gift to each other, as y'all saw in the chat that Brother Tyrell has gifted us as the organization the opportunity to attend the training from Educate, Not Mutilate. And so that is such a blessing and a gift. And so that's what we're going to continue to do, to share our gifts with each other. And so we have our values here. We founded this collective with the intention of working together to change the birthing experiences in our communities around the world. And of course, everything's in Ma'at, which is divine justice, order, balance, truth, reciprocity, harmony, and compassion. So these are some of our goals, which was to create a membership process to fund our workshop presenters, fund nonprofit setup fees, and that's an eventual goal. And actually, moving from that, we're moving towards actually being able to receive a fiscal sponsor, and we talked a bit about that last meeting. So please do review the last recording. And then here's the implementation, how we do this by creating projects in our communities that focus on the individual needs of our communities. We don't want to generalize care in the work that we do here. So we want to focus on the individual needs of those that we serve and their unique experiences, because we cannot say that what works in Ghana is going to work in Kenya. What works in Kenya is going to work in Gambia. What works in the Gambia is going to work in South Africa, right? So we want to make sure that we're responding to the needs of our unique communities, and we're bringing those things to our organization, and we are creating strategies around trainings, and so that we can just be a powerhouse in speaking on behalf of the needs of our unique communities, right? So that's really the goal. That's really the work. So we have our mission, our vision, our values, our goals. Everything is here. So again, that is accessible in the organizational toolkit, and some people probably have not even looked at that. That's why I pulled it up. And so here is this is the flyer, the brochure that I use here. And you could definitely take it and use it. And so all I talk about is like our mission for the workshops that we do, saving lives one birth at a time, and doing the hands-on trainings, which is what I do here. And that's one of the trainings that we're going to offer moving forward, is training everyone in our collective on how to present the maternal health workshops. So we base it on the International Childbirth Initiative. Well, we don't base it on that. We utilize some of their understandings in order to educate the midwives and the birth and the like nurses and stuff that we work with. And then and that's going to be a growing thing for us, because our organization is actually going to be put on the International Childbirth Initiative's website, and we are going to be continuing this communication with them. And eventually, a major goal, as we talked about before, is us as a collective being considered our own network, right? And so then we'd be able to be a major voice for Africa and the diaspora, and how we do birth education and support in our communities. So then we talk about labor and birth support. That's where I taught around comfort measures, and then postpartum education and support, and then breastfeeding support and education. So those are the 4 components through which I create my workshops. And so you could do this, but for your community, and it is totally fine. So feel free to utilize this, or feel free to take the template and put your own information on there. I'm totally okay with that. No problem here. All right. So that is pretty much y'all can see my screen. Okay. So that's pretty much let me see what y'all can see here. Okay. That's the basis of what you need as a member. So that's just the information you have. And then I also have the workshop flyer templates that I did for the year. And then so here is the information about membership. So please, I'm going to reshare this in the chat and you can go back over it. This is the goals is to, us have our own website and directories and, continue to have education and all of this resource list for the needs of our communities. How do we continue fundraising together? And so again, if you have a workshop or something that you're doing in your community and you could use a few dollars to support the projects that you're doing, that's what we're here for. And so that's really the goal, to keep going. And so here's the members intake form. Again, it's on the document. Click that link. It's going to take you to the form. And then of course, if, as I mentioned, in your own respective country, please do share what it might look like to have roughly around the same energetic feel of $25 a year for your membership fee, but for your country. So it's 150 CDs for Ghana, 250 Rand for South Africa. So y'all kind of get where we're going with that. So that is pretty much okay. And so here's the sponsorship. So what you can also do is share this document with folks that are giving out money. And so, oh, actually it's 250, so I need to change that. So these are the sponsorship levels, and each of these sponsorships will go towards continuing the education funding for us as a group, opportunities for bringing on more programming, all of those things, and then eventually organizing our organization so that we can have an executive director and all of that. And I don't know if you got a chance to listen to our last meeting, but I said I don't have any intention on being the executive director. That would be a position that would be created and folks would send in resumes, all that stuff, right? So I see Motherland Birth Collective as something that I was called to co-create, but it's not mine. I don't see it as mine. I see it as ours. And so I really look forward to seeing it continue to unfold. And I look forward to seeing how the collective will turn into this just masterful organization. I'm really excited about that. And I love it. And I'm so happy that all of y'all are here, all the folks who joined us last time, all y'all who've joined us this time. And we're just going to continue to support each other along the way. So let me stop sharing. Okay. So what I would love for anyone who would like to share, please do comment any, if you have the ability to comment, please comment any ideas, comments, questions, concerns you might have. And I am just looking for that there we go, the document that we have here. So anybody want to come off mute and chat? Nobody's gotta say anything. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, y'all can feel free to put it in the group, in the chat, or comment a little later. So I will continue to share. So we were able to do all the stuff I mentioned here. In South Africa, we did the NICU and bereavement family gifts in July that Nonkuleko that she spearheads in her community. We were able to do some scholarships. We did $100 towards Nonkuleko's travels to Sri Lanka in November. And that was her representing at the International Bereavement Conference, I believe. And she received an award as the Family Voice, International Award as the Family Voice over like bereavement, and as she's the over in the council, right, in the council of the International Bereavement confederation or something like that. So that's really exciting. I'm so excited. I was so happy for us to be able to have some funds that to go towards her endeavors. And then we also donated. I donated from my personal funds, but it was in the name of the collective, 1,000 CDs to a scholarship recipient who was traveling internationally. And so I donated, she came here to Ghana. And so I donated 1,000 CDs on behalf of the collective. And then I recently also donated 40 through the collective towards a midwifery sister. She's trying to cover her NARM fees. So I wanted to donate something that wouldn't go too much out of our budget. And so I think currently we still maybe have like 100 and something USD, and we're gonna just keep gathering funds. And so I don't like it to get under a certain amount. And I'm running that right now, but I don't want to run it forever. So, and so I take these fees through PayPal. And so you can definitely like add the PayPal link on in your bios or in your link trees and see if we can continue to gather funds. And you can also, I think I'm going to, usually everybody just reaches out to me, but I think I'll do like an application where you can apply for funds. And, or if you're doing like you're doing a GoFundMe, or you know someone who's in birth work doing GoFundMe, then we can also submit those. We just share them in the chat. And then if we have the funds available, we do that. So it's not, as you see, it's not like a whole lot. We just do the best we can with what we got for right now. But when we're getting thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars in donations to us, we're going to do so much more. So that's my 2 cents about that. Does anybody have anything else anything they wanna say? No? Sure. Please go ahead and put things in the chat, y'all, if you can't speak. I would love to hear folks' voices, opinions, thoughts. And so the goals for 2025 are continued fundraising. We have continued fundraising. We're going to just really create a fundraising plan to be able to keep that going. So I could use some support around that. That would be great. Our other goals are training strategy. So Sister Camille in Nigeria, because we have two Camis here, Sister Camille in Nigeria offered to do some strategy workshops and programming to create, to pull out each person's individual voice in order for them to create trainings that are specific to their work and all the things that they do. And so I think that's amazing as we continue to build ourselves as a training organization. And as I mentioned earlier, and then we have the FGM, FGM training. We have the FGM training in January. So please do put your votes in for the date that works best for you. And then with that training, I believe Brother Tyrell said that with the training, you will be able to speak on behalf of this organization. So you would be trained. We're trained by like the head person, the one who like created the organization, or she like wrote a book on her personal experience. And then we'd be able to support people in their experiences and also train on this information as well, which gathers more knowledge, right? Especially when we serve families in countries that are impacted by genital cutting in one way or another. So that's what that's for. We also have the holistic childbirth education and community health holistic childbirth educators and community health educator training. and that's July. I'm still figuring out the dates for that. And so we're adding the community health educators component to the holistic childbirth educators. And hopefully Sarah is here Boating, and she is a midwife here in Ghana, and she's doing amazing work internationally as a global voice for reproductive health in Ghana and throughout Africa. And so on social media, she goes by the Global Midwife, and she is just phenomenal. So if you don't know her, definitely connect. She's here today. And so she also, we're working together to figure out if we will be able to find the time to get this community health educators aspect of this training together, because that's one thing that Sarah does. She, as a foremost voice in this community health education component, so much so that she has an organization called Talk to Your Midwife, where she has an app for reproductive support for folks here in Ghana. She also offers a kit, a birth kit for families in her community and throughout Ghana. And she's just doing so much. And so I just love the work that she's doing. And I think that community health education is something that is continuing to be a growing component in the work that we do as birth workers, but also is something to add to childbirth education, because as a childbirth educator, you are talking to the community. Childbirth isn't just something that we talk to pregnant people about, right? We could talk to, young folks, teens, all of that, to prepare themselves in their holistic community health, right? And so that is what our training will be about in July. I think that's it right now. Does anybody have any trainings that they're going to do and that wouldn't mind, like, offering this level of care and support to our organization? You can feel free to put it in the chat. If not, if so. So with this, y'all can do that, and I'm gonna keep talking. With this, we're gonna add a cohort. For 3 months. And this is also going to be extended to folks who have previously taken the holistic childbirth educators course, and then they get a discount for taking the community health educators course. And then, because they'll be together but they'll be separate, so if you just want to take the holistic childbirth educators course, you can. If you just want to take the community health educators, they'll be separate weekends, and so you could take them separately. But I definitely would recommend taking the full thing. And then Motherland Birth Collective members always get a discount. I think it's like half off, so you always get a discount for that. And then folks who have taken the training previously are eligible to go ahead and join the 3-month cohort, where we will work together to create the content for your educational material. So by the end of the cohort, each of us will have created, each of you, whatever the case may be, always creating something, right? Will have created your content and also shared the content. So you get like that extra support. So you'll share with the group, and then we'll give you feedback and all of that. And so that's just the next level of our training opportunities within that structure. And then I would love, if anybody has something to say, please come off and talk, y'all. I don't want to have to talk this whole time, but it's okay. And then finally, what I would love for us to come together probably by the end of the year is talk about what it would look like for Motherland Birth Collective to offer an African-centered birth worker training, right? And I say this, I say this because we were talking about last time how much we see the need for a different level of training and different words and energetic and community connotations to be given. And so what I would like to do here in my area in Ghana, not in all of Ghana, but in my area, my goal next year is to create, do some small training so that people can become community birth sisters, right? So community, it's mostly going to be women here. So community birth sisters, where potentially they could volunteer their time to support some of the pregnant mothers when they go into labor. So I saw that as a need when I saw like, okay, I'm doing these workshops, but I can't, I'm only one person. Like, what if they want to call me and have me at their birth? Okay, well, maybe I can find some folks in my community, and I'm not going to call it a doula training. I don't really want it to be necessarily a doula training. I want to train them as community birth sisters, where they just know how to go in, offer comfort measures, offer the level of support. It's not going to be a doula training. They're not going to be, certified or nothing like that. I don't really think all of that is necessary. I just think people need to know how to support folks and feel empowered to do so, and how community can continue to wrap birthing folks in love and care, and that it doesn't seem to continue to always come from outside of their community. That's one of my goals for 2025 for Cape Coast area. Okay, so Destiny said she's doing lactation for doulas or birth workers training for folks to have basic knowledge. I love that. Okay, so is it going to be online, Destiny? I think everybody great. I think folks who don't have that should take it. Okay, yes. I think that's great. Do you have an idea about, oh, you could talk to us in the chat. So I think that's amazing. Yeah. Would you be willing to put a discount for Motherland Birth Collective members? Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we're really just rocking and rolling. Um, And I think it's so beautiful. So please continue to share all of the beautiful things you're doing in your community. And we will continue to support each other through fundraising goals and everything else that we might need. We will go ahead and start like getting our materials for Black Maternal Health Week out, so then everyone could support, Black maternal, like just push it out on their social media platforms and all of that, and just be real. Like I found that what helped me actually, like I had done the goal for the month and I didn't get any funds. And then I put a post out just like like saying my true heart and saying like, man, I'm really kind of like disheartened by the fact that like nobody understands how important it is to support mamas here, And so I was just like, this is what we do. Do you know that this is what mamas go through here? And I mean, within 20, it was my last day of fundraising. And within that 24 hours, I received all the whole $200. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just so crazy. And I know for some people think like $200 is not nothing, but it's big when you're like doing everything out of your own pocket, and that $200 and the initial funds have been able to support, as you see here, giving a scholarship, giving scholarships, like whatever else. So even though funds still come out my pocket if I have it, I love the fact that we're able to pull from the resources gathered through this. And so it gives me a lot of hope that pushing a fundraiser for Black Maternal Health Week, maybe we should shoot for our goal. Well, what do y'all think? Somebody tell me. What do you y'all can put it in the chat. Black Maternal Health Week. So my goal for 2025 is like 2,500 for fundraising. That will allow us to be like, hey, this person needs this person needs that. Fund everybody to do this, right? Just a few little things that we could do, and then strengthen everything that we're doing. But does anybody else think we should go for a goal? Any other goal? It's my last question before we get off, y'all. Shoot for the stars. I don't know. I'm gonna say 2,500 to like let's say 4,000. Let's say 4,000. We can try. We can do our best. That'll allow us to do so much um with our respective things. So I know folks is at work and doing multitasking and stuff. So I appreciate y'all time. Appreciate love your time. Does anybody have anything that they don't mind physically saying? Anything that they want to put for 2025 projects, things they might need support with next year? What else? No one? All hearts and minds are clear? Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the information and everything. It's so powerful. Uh, I would love that next year the collective can visit my space in Koforidia so that maybe they can provide training for the mothers, education for the mothers, or anything that will be helpful to the mothers. I'd love that the collective can come in to visit.
We will talk about that. I know a few of us are in the country. So it would be cool if we could get our Black Maternal Health Week fundraising, and then we could then prepare for some of those funds to be used towards visiting you in Koforidria and doing the training. How's that look? And maybe we could do like a week
Mm,
training where we offer like different components. What do you think?
right, that would be
Yeah.
good.
We don't want to rush. We want to see all the beautiful things you're doing in your area. That's such a beautiful goal. And if we can't make that 2025, we will try and do it like early 2026. So that will be one of our goals, is to utilize some of the funding to send those of us who are in Ghana currently. And if anybody's coming to visit, we could go and visit you. I think that's great. Yay, that's such a great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so let me just give an overview of what we do. So I I have a station in the marketplace where I take care of pregnant women who come to the market to buy and sell, and who go to the markets do not have time to come to the hospital to go through antenatal. And most of these women are the ones that end up with complications. So we are bringing the healthcare directly to the mothers in the marketplace. So we've built up a station in the market where we've partnered with the Eastern Regional Ghana Health Service, and we are providing care to these women who come to the market to buy and sell. So yeah, that's what we do in the market. Apart from our mobile app that is for those that have access to internet and phones. Thank you.
Were you finished sharing? Thank you so much for sharing. I had to go get my charger, y'all. Sorry. Who's gonna be off this minute? Thank you so much for sharing. So I walked out briefly, but I'm sure everybody heard that she does work with helping the mothers and the market women, which is beautiful work. Every time I see the market women or the women who do the hawking, a lot of them are, so many of them are pregnant. And I just be like, oh, I don't know how to support you. So I love that you're doing that. And I would love for you even to offer you to come down here one day and do the work that you're doing there. Come bring some of that down here. Aurora said more training and education on general nurturing care as well as general sanitation, because people have issues with basic sanitation. Ain't that's the truth. Preparing their own meals, let alone proper preparing food for family members in need. Perhaps educate the youth in school so that they can also assist their families and educate others and use their knowledge as they mature moving forward. I agree. I agree. Thank you for that. All right, y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got. So if anybody got anything else, or if you're good to go, the next thing is us talking. Well, the thing we need to talk about, but we could put it in the chat, is our organizational structure. But I think that this is really good for now. Everybody good? Okay, hold on me.